Thank you for joining us today for Customer Experiences, Creating Awareness with Meaningful Personal Actions. My name is Kathy DeGlendon, the Marketing and Communications Manager for Advanced Utility Systems. I have with me today our VP of Sales, Jared Brandon, who will be talking to you about how you can improve your customer experiences with personalized actions. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. All mics are on mute, and we will have a question and answer session at the end. However, if you have any questions at that throughout the presentation, you can just type them into the chat, and I will share them with Jared. So Jared, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Kathy. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining. We're going to try to make this a little bit fun. I don't know if you've ever participated with like a Slido as part of a presentation, but if you go to slido.com, enter in that code there, or just scan the QR code with your mobile phone, you'll jump into a room. And I'm going to ask you guys some questions throughout the presentation, and you can submit your responses. We'll see all the responses together on the screen. Just makes it a little bit more fun and interesting. So I'll give you a minute to jump in there. You'll join the customer experiences room. There's no active polls right now. They're coming up. But yeah, just go to slido.com, enter in that code, and we'll wait for a few more people to jump in there. A couple people popped in. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Great. Well, there'll be some more slides, so if you missed that, you'll have a chance to jump in. All right, so whether you've been in the industry for a while, been part of a customer engagement project, or you've just engaged with your own local municipality or utility, you've likely interacted with one of the many digital solutions that are out there. Modern customers, they have this digital first preference, and they expect this multi-channel engagement. So the web, portal, email, SMS communications, video, IVR. These reach people wherever they are, and the self-service, of course, supports them when it's convenient for them. But access to information is just the first step, right? How do we get customers to actually act on that information? In speaking with our utility clients, I'm told that some of the key challenges around that, customer engagement efforts might have stalled a little bit. You might be getting diminishing returns compared to some of the early successes, right? And teams across the organization might also rely on different systems, processes, and this can lead to information silos and a bit of a fragmented customer experience when they interact with your whole organization. Operational workflows, so like a back office processes, are really dependent still on Excel spreadsheets, the dreaded sticky notes, endless email threads, and this can make it difficult to track and manage customer requests properly. So for today's webinar, we're going to talk about this, and I'd like you to be able to walk away with some helpful tips on knowing how to build the business case, how to build a case for digital customer engagement and automation, really focusing on the return on investment and customer experience to help you kind of prioritize what areas to address first for the best impact. Next, how to use your data that you already have, to create meaningful targeted messages that connect with each customer. And then how to automate some of those internal business processes, remove the bottlenecks that might be getting in the way of progress on work queues, approvals, and keeping customers in the loop. Sound good? All right. So whenever a new technology or service is introduced, adoption follows a really familiar pattern. The first wave of adopters, they jump in right away, right? Some are just naturally inclined to try new technologies, and others, maybe they just expect it from the brands that they interact with daily. The innovators, they see value immediately, right? They're going to embrace convenience without hesitation. Early adopters, they follow shortly after, with the early majority, those people that typically need a little bit more encouragement, they might not be resistant to change, but they need more information, right? Reminders, clear understanding of the benefits before making the switch. And with the right messaging and engagement, they'll follow, and they'll help drive that kind of broader adoption. First question for the Slido. What digital service do your customers struggle to adopt the most, and why? So if you joined a little bit late, if you just go to slido.com, enter in that code there, you'll jump into the room. You'll be able to submit your answer here in real time. We'll all see it together. Keep in mind, this is being recorded, so be nice. You can scan the QR code there, and you'll join the room as well. Portal, yeah, so still some folks yet to sign up for the portal. Auto pay, okay, so setting up some automatic payments, getting alerts, so registering to receive alerts real time. Paperless, of course, yeah. So it looks like top of the list is still the portal, followed by auto pay. Auto pay is catching up. This is great, you guys. Yeah, thank you. Good engagement. One more person still typing. Give them a minute. Okay, we're on the same page. Yeah, North American municipalities, utilities, customer adoption rates for digital services and programs, they can vary based on different factors like geographic location, right? The demographics of the customer base, how actively we're promoting these services. But you might be surprised to hear that online self-serve portals still around 40 to 60%, slowly increasing, right? Older, maybe less tech savvy populations that still rely on the kind of the traditional methods like the drive-through or coming into chat or making a phone call, if those options are still available. Around 45 to 55% of customers opt for paperless billing. And so these customers, they see value, right, in the convenience. Maybe it's for environmental reasons. 30 to 50% customers enrolled in automatic automatic payment programs. And so these are probably people that don't want to worry about missing a payment. Some might still be concerned or maybe resistant because of concerns around budget management. But conservation programs, these programs, they could really widely vary, right? Typical rates, 10 to 25%, really depends on the incentives and how actively the utilities marketing them, right? So you might see more affluent or environmentally conscious communities or regions will have higher adoption rates. So what am I trying to say? There's still work left to do, right? And I think we've made great progress, but there's still 50% of the customer base. It's a huge opportunity. It's one that holds a lot of savings, efficiencies, and customer benefits that we haven't captured yet. And the challenge now is reaching those who need more time or a stronger incentive. There's always going to be the laggards, right? Some we might never convert, but for that late majority, how do we communicate to them in a way that grabs their attention and speaks to their specific needs? And then once they do start engaging, how do we manage those requests efficiently so we don't overwhelm our teams? That's going to be a big focus for today's webinar. Let me ask you, what motivates you, the carrot or the stick? We like to think we're all different, but when it comes to making decisions, most of us follow the same pattern. We take the path of least resistance. If something is faster, easier, more convenient, we're far more likely to adopt it. So, think about your own habits. Would you sign up for paperless billing if it saved you time? What about water conservation if you knew exactly how much money you'd save? Some of us need incentives, right? A financial benefit, a reward, or even maybe a little recognition to make a change. And then there's the bigger picture. Some people are motivated by the environmental impact, their carbon offset, knowing how much waste they're avoiding, saving water and whatnot. Others want to know, hey, how am I doing against the Joneses? They want to compare themselves against their neighbors. Then, of course, there's the stick, right? Fees, penalties, surcharges that give us that gentle nudge in the right direction to push us into action when we might, otherwise put it off. So the key to driving adoption of some of these digital services and programs is really understanding these motivations, right? And making it easier and rewarding, as rewarding as possible for customers to make the switch. Whether it's the carrot or the stick, we all just want to make a decision that feels good about, that we feel good about anyways, and makes lives a little easier. So we know what motivates people: convenience, savings, recognition, sometimes avoiding a penalty. But knowing what drives behavior is only half the battle, because let's be honest, we can be lazy. In today's world, attention spans shorter than ever, right? 6 to 8 seconds. I would say they're half of what they were 10 years ago. And probably coming to no surprise to you all, I lost some of you to Instagram Reel or Sportsnet update or whatever app you're scrolling through right now. I can see you on the video. No, I'm just joking. But the reality is we're in a constant battle for attention, right? And not just to get customers to notice us, but for us to keep that attention, keep that focus long enough to inspire action. So how do we break through the noise? How do we get customers to pay attention and take action? Today, the webinar, it's about taking action around the things that benefit the customers, their wallets, and their community. We have to simplify the message and deliver it in a way that sticks. Think of it like a highlight reel, not as a lecture. So if grabbing customers' attention wasn't challenging enough, there's another layer we have to consider, right? The regulatory compliance. Utilities don't just serve customers, we serve entire communities, and that means equal access to information for everyone. We have to make sure that our message meets accessibility standards. So this means things like readable fonts, screen reader compatibility, alternative formats, ensuring that every customer, regardless of ability, can access and understand the information we're trying to send them. So as we're working to improve engagement and adoption, we have to be just as focused on the compliance and inclusivity, making sure that our digital services are accessible for everyone. Have you guys ever received like an offer, a notice for something that maybe you already bought, or worse, weren't even eligible for? It's frustrating, right? And you think, hey, they should know better. They should just know this. And when customers receive these irrelevant messages, they tune out. They feel, bombarded with generic communications. They might even unsubscribe, which means that you lose your chance to reach them when it really matters, something else, right? And so beyond that, talking about wasted resources, every printed mail item costs around 70 cents in postage alone. And a huge percentage just end up in the recycling bin or worse, the trash. But that's not just inefficient. I think it's somewhat irresponsible use of a marketing budget and staff's time. So the real issue is generic mass communications don't drive action. They lack relevance, right? Urgency and personalization. Three things that I think are really critical to engaging customers and influencing behavior. When we do get customers' attention, there's another challenge, that inbound call surge that follows a campaign launch. When a new program or an initiative might roll out, you might see a huge spike in customer inquiries. Right? This can overwhelm staff, increase some of your wait times. And so, how do we shave the peak and get ahead of this, right? How do we reduce that flood of unnecessary calls while still ensuring customers get the information they need? Turns out 2/3 of people learn best with visual aids, right? So that means what they see has a much bigger impact than just reading plain text. And sure, like a printed notice or generic email technically deliver the information, right? But remember those attention spans that we were talking about earlier. If it doesn't grab them, it's probably going to get ignored. So if we want customers to engage, understand, and most importantly, take action, we need to deliver information that resonates. grab that 95% of the audience, right? So we live in a world where our attention span just crave entertaining bite-sized content, messages that get straight to the point. And personalized messaging, it cuts through the noise by delivering information that actually matters to the individual. Every customer, right, is unique, and our engagement strategy should be too. So if we're still sending out a one-size-fits-all, we're probably losing our audience before we even get a chance to connect with them. And once you lose someone's attention, it's harder and harder to get it back. And so that's why making that good first impression, clear, relevant, intuitive, super critical. Slido question, if you're ready, what customer data do you have right now that can be used to create more personalized and relevant communications? Think about your different systems of record. Think about some of the different software. Hey, maybe it's paper in a filing cabinet that you've yet to digitize. I don't know, but think about what information you have, what data do you have that you can use that'll really drive some of this personalized communications. Area that they live in. Okay, so the region, absolutely. Some things are only maybe more relevant to certain people, or only applicable if they live in an area, generally speaking, or if something happens. Looking at usage trends, yeah. Account type, yeah. So maybe you want to have different messaging, whether it's residential, commercial, industrial. Know your audience, absolutely. The household size, okay, yeah. So having some, I'm seeing some demographics information kind of woven in here, yeah. Their usage, yeah. So whether you have AMR or real-time kind of interval reads, or knowing kind of usage, maybe overlaying weather and other things, other factors to be able to see what's making an impact. Usage is a big one, yeah. Good engagement, everybody. Thank you. If they have or use email, so knowing their communication preferences. It's great. You guys are awesome. Thank you. You got it. So, yeah. What data can drive personalized communications? First, let's start with the basics. Who your customers are and how they prefer to be contacted. So simple things like name, preferred language, and contact method can make a big difference, right, in engagement. If a customer prefers email, but we keep sending them letters in the mail, we might have lost them. And the more we align with their preferences, the better their response. Beyond contact details, we have service-related data, right, that helps personalize messaging. So knowing whether a customer has water, electric, gas, or wastewater, knowing, are they, to your guys' point, are they residential, commercial, industrial, knowing what kind of meter they have, or if they're on a special rate plan, that allows us to send only the most relevant updates and information, whether that's information on, say, a rate change, service upgrade, or efficiency tips. Payment habits tell us a lot about a customer's needs. Are they always on time, or do they frequently have overdue balances? So targeted payment reminders, installment plan offers, or even proactive assistance programs can help make an impact here, right? The goal is to reach people before a small issue becomes a major one. Usage, I saw it was big on that last Slido, and I think that's really where things get interesting. So how much water, how much energy a customer is actually using. Imagine getting an alert when your usage is higher than normal, or receiving a personalized efficiency recommendation based on your consumption trends. So this data allows us to engage customers in a way that's helpful and proactive. Nobody likes to be left in the dark about a service request, right? Whether it's a pending work order, a leak adjustment, a service interruption update, we can use this data to proactively communicate with customers, right? Reducing the need for them to call in and check for a status update. Less frustration for them, fewer inbound inquiries for us. Have we reached out to them before? Did they open that last email? Did they watch that video? How far in the video did they get? Have they responded to a previous campaign? So tracking some of these past interactions, it helps us understand what's working and what's not. If a customer's ignored multiple emails but engaged with the text message, we know how to reach them moving forward, right? Customers, they expect timely updates on things that impact them, whether that's an upcoming disconnection, a new rebate opportunity, maybe scheduled maintenance in their area, right? Instead of waiting for them to call us, we can send them alerts and information before they realize they need that info. Finally, not all customers are the same. I saw regions brought up there, but some are customers are high risk. They might, maybe they need a few extra reminders to stay on top of payments. Others are eco-conscious, respond well to conservation initiatives. Then they're high engagement customers that really prefer the self-serve and digital options. And so I think by understanding these behaviors, we can tailor our outreach to fit their needs. And a lot of this data may already be available to you in CIS Infinity, right? I think it's just about using it effectively. And so when we match the right message to the right person at the right time, engagement improves, right? These inquiries decrease and customers feel more connected. Most of you by now probably use email templates in CIS Infinity. It can pull in this data elements into a text format, and don't get me wrong, it helps. It's a great first step. You can use some of these personalized data elements, right? But are you ready to take it to the next level? I want to talk about personalized videos. And I know many of you have already seen these in action. Some of you have already started rolling them out. So don't worry, I'm not going to spend the rest of today's webinar on this. But for those who are seeing it for the first time, I just want to quickly show you what's possible. And then we'll kind of get into the action piece of today. So unlike standard email or mailed notices, personalized videos, they stand out from the noise, right? They're a lot more engaging. It turns out twice as likely to be seen than something you might mail or email. These personalized videos, they're uniquely composed based on real customer data, like what's stored in CIS Infinity or whatever your system of record are. That means that the video, it only presents information that actually matters to that specific customer. So, for example, if a customer's already signed up for autopay and paperless billing, the video won't even bring it up. Instead, the video just focuses on what's relevant at that moment in time, whether it's a high bill explanation, rebate opportunity, or upcoming rate change, whatever it is. The result, though, is customers more likely to watch, understand, and take action without feeling like their time's being wasted. And compared to that traditional mail and generic emails, this actually leaves a lasting positive impression. So again, not gonna spend a ton of time on this. I just want to show you a quick example. Before I hit play, I want you to imagine this. So the next time a customer's bill is issued, instead of sending them a generic notice, CIS Infinity automatically sends them a personalized video, curated specifically for them at that moment in time. Maybe it even piggybacks on the bill notifications going out from your payment processing vendor.
Hey Mary, we've made this video just for you. Here are the charges from your most recent invoice as well as your due date. You recently had a change to your water service, so we wanted to explain why your charges for this month may be different than usual. Your meter was replaced on this date. To make things clearer, let's walk you through the change from this billing cycle. These are the days before your meter was exchanged, and these are the days after the change. As a result, you'll see two charges on your bill, a partial charge for the period before the meter exchange and a second charge after the change. Did you know about our web portal? You can manage your account right from your smartphone, tablet, or computer. Plus, you can view and pay bills, review your consumption, and much, much more. And with online payments, you can schedule payments when it's convenient for you. You can save even more time by signing up for AutoPay. AutoPay allows you to automatically pay your bills without having to call or go online. You will be alerted by email each time we receive your payment. We also noticed that you haven't signed up for paperless billing, which is a more convenient way to view your bills and a great way to protect the environment. We'll send you an email every month when your bill is ready. And sign up for budget billing to spread your costs evenly over the entire year. You will pay the same amount each month with no surprises. Based on your bills over the last 12 months, this is the average amount you would owe. Thanks, Kim, for being our customer. To recap, this is your total amount due and your due date. To view and pay your bill or to register for our web portal services, simply click the buttons on your screen.
So whether I'm watching this on my smartphone or my tablet, PC, doesn't matter. Click on these call to action buttons, holds their hand, takes them right where they need to go, right? So just note, you are always in control. You get to decide what gets said, how and when, and to whom. Those videos, the scripts, and all that, completely configurable.
And Jared, we have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Is there a way to get consent from a customer on the portal we cannot send out before that? So there has to be some kind of form of consent. Can you do that in some way prior to sending this out?
Absolutely. Yeah. Your initial reach out can be that opt-in or opt-out request. And I believe utilities within North America, you get one get out of jail free card. And it's your first time reaching out to ask for that consent. So you can reach out. Best time to do that is when they first activate service. That's when they're most likely to want to chat with you. But absolutely, you want to be able to send that out and ask them to opt in. And the portals do offer that, but then you can store that in CIS Infinity as well to know. Good question. So the next personalized video, these can be used to promote special programs like conservation. These could be like general tips and tricks to save money or specific rebate programs.
Hi, Mary. Lowering your utility bill starts with reducing your energy use. So we're here to help you on your path to improved efficiency. Did you know heating your home makes up the biggest part of most people's energy bill? Spend less keeping your house comfortable with these 3 tips. Set your thermostat at 68 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. You can save up to 10% on your heating bills by simply turning your thermostat down 7 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 hours. Seal air leaks and leaky ducts. In most homes, if you add up all the air leaks, the impact
las fugas de aire, el impacto en el consumo de energía es similar a dejar una ventana abierta. Puede ahorrar hasta un 20% en sus costos de calefacción y refrigeración.
Clean or replace air filters. By cleaning or replacing your filters, you can lower your heating and cooling system energy use by up to 15%. We are here to help, and we offer a variety of rebates and programs that you are eligible for. From energy-saving tips to clean energy solutions, you have options. To learn more about all of our programs and register for rebates, simply click the button on screen.
You saw me turn on the closed captions. You can launch different languages. Again, those accessibility options. Before I hit click this button and kind of take the next step, I want to talk a little bit more about the action. So you've got their attention. You sent them this entertaining video and they want to register for, say, that conservation program, apply for a rebate or submit a request. But now what, right? In a perfect world, they submit their request and then everything would move smoothly behind the scenes and they get what they need quickly and easily. But, in reality, that's not how it always works. And for some organizations, this is where things can, fall apart behind the scenes. Love this image. With requests, things can sometimes get lost in email chains, right? Updates maybe made in disconnected spreadsheets. Staff spend too much time chasing approvals. And then you've got different departments that aren't on the same page. Handoffs might be clunky. And then nobody, especially the customer, knows where things stand. So what happens when there's a backlog, right? Escalations, more phone calls, more frustration. It can be a cycle that drains resources and slows down service and makes a less than ideal customer experience. So we just saw how personalized videos grab attention and guide customers toward action. But the real magic happens is when we make taking action just as easy as watching the video. And that's where smart forms and automation come in. So we know that staff time, budgets stretched thin, right? Automating common requests and processes can mean fewer inbound calls, fewer manual tasks, more time for your team to maybe focus on something else. Self-service, not a nice to have anymore. It's what customers expect. And for some, it's generational, right? They've grown up with it. It's all they've ever interacted with. But let's not forget the COVID effect, right? People right now may be more sensitive to or accustomed to handling things online. They're just kind of used to it, interacting with a kiosk instead of coming in. But the numbers speak for themselves, right? Offering the smart forms with automation, or better yet, personalized videos with smart forms and automation, you'll see higher conversion rates, faster resolution times. Customer feel more in control, more informed, and your staff don't get overwhelmed. So I want to bring it to life with a real world scenario. So imagine you're running a conservation program. Maybe it's distributing, I don't know, like low flow shower heads or turf removal updates or rebates, I should say, or a high efficiency appliance. These can be multi-step processes that often involve several teams and even third parties. So you think about all the different stakeholders involved and what they need to know at each stage. You've got customer service. They need to see customers' request status, right? When they call in with questions. Billing might need to apply rebates or adjust changes based on participation. Field operations, maybe they're responsible for delivering, installing, inspecting devices and stuff. Conservation department, of course, they ultimately own the program. They're tracking participation and reporting on the success. But then you might have like outside third-party suppliers that need to fulfill and ship orders, sometimes directly to customers. So instead of manually trying to coordinate between departments and third parties, a customer filling out a single smart form can actually kickstart an automated workflow, ensuring that the right people get notified simultaneously, right? The approvals happen in sequence and everyone, including the customer, knows what's going on. So remember that personalized video that video I just showed on conservation, which you could weave in personalized data, like here's how much you would save specifically based on your past usage. That personalized, let's revisit it. Let's take a look on how smart forms could be incorporated to streamline the process. Just going to jump back in there. Click on this. It can launch a smart form. Now, this could take you to a website, could take you to the portal, or a form where they can go ahead and click to get more information about any one of these things. Again, you choose the look, the feel, the information that's on there, the small print, kind of the instructions and the workflow for these types of smart forms. Bit of a workflow here. I'm going to enter my account number, hit next. Now I can start to add things. You can have click boxes, drop downs. Text fields, calendars. You get the idea. Some information. Next, we can have signatures. We can attach pictures. Submit that, and then that really kickstarts kind of a back office workflow. I know that was a little bit quick. I think you get the idea, though. Question for you guys, though, in the Slido. Hope I've got some wheels turning. What internal processes within your organization are the most manual, the most time-consuming? Right? This can involve multiple steps, approvals, frequent delays. Leak adjustments? Okay, right on. Yep. Painful processes, tedious tasks, cutoff lists. Okay. Where are all those sticky notes? What are you using spreadsheets for? What do you have to take that piece of paper over to somebody on the other side of the building for? Billing, new service applications. Think about other departments that you interact with. Think about those long email chains, those folders in your Outlook that you keep dropping things in. Meter maintenance. Oh, title company property transfers. Gotcha. Yeah. Detailed payment agreement tracking for status or state reports. Okay. Yeah. Whoops. I lost that. There we go. Sorry. This is great feedback, you guys. Thank you. One more person typing. Name changes. Yeah. So account changes. Absolutely. Contact information, new service applications, transfer of services. I'm going to show you one more example. Spring cleaning's almost here. Let's take a look at a smart form related to, like, say, a large item pickup. I choose the date that I need that item picked up. I'm going to enter in that account number. I'd prefer to be contacted by phone. Let me know. All right, what do they come to pick up? Mattress. I've got one king and I don't know, two single mattresses. I'm going to attach a picture of those, give them some context. Hit submit. Okay, that then kickstarted. Maybe it's notifying customer service. Maybe it's also notifying operations, whoever might be going to pick that up. Maybe it's triggering actions and CIS Infinity and some follow-on orders, things like that. Next, I don't know if any of you offer solid waste, garbage, recycling services. How about a large item pickup? Sorry, I mean a new bin replacement. I meant. Sorry, my bad. Again, this workflow is totally configurable. John Hancock here. All right, I want to upgrade my garbage bin, also my recycling. And I need a larger yard waste bin. Actually going to need another one. Insert some images. Really, all this kind of workflow. This is just a sample form that we put together for the demo, but I think you get the idea. Again, submitted. That can notify one person, multiple people. That can update CIS Infinity. That can create actions and follow-on events. Really, it's really just the start.
We have a question. Somebody's saying where do these forms live? Is it a website or is it a separate location other than their own website, or where does it live? Where do those forms live?
It's up to you. So you can, this type of software can be hosted on-prem. if you're hosting other solutions on premise, could also be hosted in the cloud. So it's really, they can live where you're comfortable for them living. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
And I guess, can you link them to your own website? If you had a company, a community website, could you put them on that individual website, or a link would go to that form?
Yeah, you can have these smart forms accessed from your website. Like, let's say your website right now, you have PDFs that people download and fill them out and mail them in or bring them into the office. You can turn those into smart forms. They can live from your website, or be launched from your website. It could be launched from within the portal. So some of those, transfer services and some of those common type, service type requests that you might want to have as a self-serve option in the portal. So yeah, you've got options, but most of the most time-consuming processes can really be streamlined with digital forms. So you think about the most common requests like water, sewer, leak adjustments, somebody brought up, rebates, starting new services, enrolling payment plans. These often require multiple approvals, emails, right, follow-ups. Instead of relying on manual workflows, these digital forms, they can populate systems of record, automate approvals, notify the right departments, keep customers updated. So beyond utility customer service and billing, smart forms, they can also be valuable for, say, like permitting, inspections, other departments, reducing the paperwork and some of the ambiguity in those processes. So basically, if a process involves multiple steps, departments, or approvals, there's an opportunity to automate it. Let's talk about how to kind of streamline this, how to kind of configure things behind the scenes. So I think a well-designed workflow, isn't just about collecting information. It's about moving that request through the right steps efficiently, while keeping everybody in the loop. So requests are automatically sent to the right departments, ensuring that approvals happen in the right sequence, right, without that email back and forth follow-ups. Staff and customers receive notifications on key steps. So if something stalls, it's automated escalations, prevent those bottlenecks and delays. And again, customers would have better visibility. What's next? What's required? When to expect updates? Reducing some of those frustrations. So with these kind of configurable automation tools, you're really not just improving efficiency, you're reducing some of that confusion, some of the delays, just really making it a little easier for people. And if you have that integrated with your systems of record, like CI Symphony or whatever, you're reducing the redundant data entry that might come with emails, inbound emails, or more forms and stuff like that. Just have it seamless.
Well, and in thinking about it too, if you have people download PDFs and to sign them and fill them out, if they type them in, you're more likely to understand what they wrote. So,
Yeah.
that's another good factor.
You don't have to decipher the hieroglyphics that were turned in.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's a good tip, Kathy, because with some of these drop downs and things like that, you're controlling what they're selecting. So you're going to have more consistency in the responses too. That will help with your own reporting afterwards. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about one of the most critical parts, which is approvals and notifications. Approvals, I know they can be a bottleneck. Requests get stuck in someone's inbox. You don't know where things stand, but you can automate that process. Decision makers can see what's pending, and they can take action immediately, right? So you don't have to worry about things kind of getting lost or falling through the cracks. If an approval is delayed, there's can be reminders or escalations. And so department managers or frontline customer service reps, they can see the status of the request. They don't have to send an email or guess. The automate is not just about making processes more efficient. It's, like I said, really about visibility into how things are working, where things are slowing down. And with these, dashboards and reports, you're not guessing. You've got these data-driven insights. So you can see how many customers are engaging with the forms or videos or notifications. It's going to help you fine-tune your outreach strategy. You can track where the requests are in the process, right? You can identify those bottlenecks, make sure things are kind of moving forward as you expect them to. Measure how long it takes, velocity. Measure how long it takes for submission to completion. This will help you set realistic expectations, maybe even internal SLAs around response times.
So we have a new question. It says, is this an add-on for Silverblaze and CIS, or is this a separate system?
It's definitely an optional solution that can be launched from, accessed from within, say, Silverblaze, your website, the video, SmartVX videos, and all of that. Yeah, absolutely. I hope that answered your question. It's definitely an optional thing. Most importantly, I want to know, like, are people actually completing these requested actions? So those conversion rates, are they actually signing up for paperless in the portal or that rebate or whatever it is? So I think having these kinds of insights, it's going to help you pinpoint opportunities, challenges. Really, it's this continuous improvement on that customer experience. All right, I think you guys get the idea. So these smart forms combined with the back office, behind the scenes automation of workflows can really transform the way that requests are handled, eliminating the manual work, paperwork, I should say, endless email chains, and some consistency in the business process. If you have new staff coming in as well, no matter who they interact with, no matter what time of day they're asking for this thing, there's some consistency in customer experience. And the big thing is connecting teams, right, throughout your organization, keeping everybody informed. So for the last few minutes here, I really want to give you some things. So how do we start implementing some of this? How do we want to think about approaching something like this? To get buy-in, it really helps to understand potential return on investment. Let's start building a business case. So you start by identifying a problem you're trying to solve and where the results will show up if you're making an impact, right? So this could be like the number of calls and emails or walk-ins you're getting right now around something specific, the time it takes you to resolve certain types of calls or common requests, how long it takes you to get back to customers, or how long processes take at different stages. So, don't forget, before you start making improvements, really encourage you to capture what I call the current state metrics. So going in so that you'll have a benchmark to gauge your results against afterwards. What's the opportunity cost? So basically, are there other things that staff could be doing? What are the costs and benefits to those? And so you can also compare the pros and cons of maybe these current manual processes versus automating them. But talk to others who've been with the organization for some time, get some insights into maybe what they've tried in the past, because we want to avoid making the same mistakes, but there very well could be reasons why things are the way that they are. And we can take aspects of that current process, we can incorporate them, but it could just all be something good to know, something to consider, and things that you might want to think about having some mitigations for. I know it can be a lot. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you could automate, and the key question is really, where do you start, right? And not every process is equally valuable to automate. So you got to prioritize the right areas, the things that are going to get the best bang for the buck, things that are going to maximize impact with minimal disruption and friction too. So focus on high volume, repetitive tasks. Okay, things that are consuming staff's time, but don't require deep expertise. So automating these first, you get some quick wins, immediate efficiencies, some measurable cost savings. Talk with senior management, talk with city council, the commission boards, leadership. See what they care about. Efficiency, customer service, cost reductions, and all that. What's the hot topic today? So I think if you align some of these automation efforts with their goals, maybe it'll help attain that initial buy-in, maybe funding support, right? So the other thing is consider who's doing the work now. If key staff, maybe they're retiring or leaving, automating their processes can preserve that institutional knowledge, right? Reduce some of the disruption down the road. If certain processes need manual oversight, maybe that's right. Maybe they're strong candidates for automation. So by, again, focusing on the high impact, high priority areas, you'll get the best ROI. Build some momentum, you're going to lay that foundation for the next phases. Doesn't have to be overwhelming. Start small, gather insights, build momentum. So a couple of key things here. Maybe talk to your staff and customers. See what's working, what's not, what's the biggest pain points are. And since we're talking about digital engagement, how about a survey, access from a personalized video? Great way to test out video-based communications with the smart form. Collect this feedback from customers. What would they like to see? What are their pain points? Walk around the office, see what's being handled manually, right? Maybe there's these Excel spreadsheets people are using. Where are those email chains? Where are those sticky notes running the show? Talk to your teams, know where the inefficiencies are. Like I said, you're not alone. Like, there's other utilities that have already tackled similar challenges. So network with your peers at the upcoming user groups, HCTC, look at case studies, tap into advanced team support like the community knowledge base, learn from your peers. And you don't have to overhaul everything all at once. So like, pick a small high impact project, test the concept, and start the project, measure success. Go from there. Happy to put you in touch with other utilities. I've already launched personalized videos using smart forms of workflows to kind of streamline customer experiences in these processes. I can tell you though, like, the results have been pretty incredible in terms of hard savings, as well as some of the soft benefits like customer satisfaction, employee morale. We're seeing like 4.5 times the average video view through rates, meaning that customers are actually sticking around to get the whole message because it's speaking to them. And 3.5 times average email click-through rates, because it's something new, it's something kind of fun and it's actionable. And 3 times the average call to action click-through rate. So meaning customers actually are taking the next step, going to the portal, filling out the smart form. So every time like a CSR interacts with the customer, remember that conversation, it can take like 6 to 9 minutes. And when you consider the cost of that time, it adds up quickly. And talked a little bit about the every time something's printed in mail, that's like 70 cents in postage alone, not including materials and labor. So you think about reaching that 50% of those late adopters, or streamlining an internal process, eliminating just one more email or one more manual step. Sounds small, right? But these small efficiencies multiplied across your organization every year, it can create some real savings, big impact. So final thoughts, covered a lot today. Personalized engagement, smart workflows, automation, but with any kind of transformation, the success depends on how you implement it. So I want to summarize this. Let's get it right from the start. So one of the biggest mistakes I see with organizations trying to do too much at once. So it's easy to kind of get excited about personalization and automation, but if you try to overhaul everything at the same time, you're going to find that the project will stall, budgets get stretched, right? Enthusiasm will fade. So just focus on one high impact use case. Maybe it's reducing call volumes by sending the bill explainer videos or something like that. Maybe it's streamlining a specific workflow like leak adjustments with smart forms. Whatever it is, start small, execute well, expand from there. Remember, personalization, it's only as good as the data driving it, right? So we only really get one shot to make a first impression. So before you roll anything out, take the time, audit your data, make sure that things are clean and reliable, make sure things are well integrated. Another key success factor I see is just making sure everyone's on board, right? So it's not just like an IT project or a customer service project or a billing project. It can really affect multiple teams. So if IT isn't aligned, data integration can slow things down, customer service isn't involved, the new workflow might not match like a real world interaction. So it really helps to kind of bring everyone together, start the conversation early, and get those stakeholders involved.
And we do have a question. Deanne says security came up earlier about using smart forms to mitigate against bots, AI document uploads that inject this into the system. So how would we navigate security and the tools if we use them?
That was a great question that actually came up in our customer leadership council meeting when we were having a conversation about this. Let me circle back with IT, because I know some people were kind of looking in and putting together a response for that. So we'll, if you don't mind, we'll follow up with an answer for you there. It was a great question and definitely something we want to be mindful of with this. All right. So finally, if you can improve, I was going to say, sorry, you can't really improve what you can't measure. So I think a lot of organizations roll out new tools, but don't track their impact. So I think from day one, be clear, know what you're aiming at, capture, know what those success metrics are, but then also know what your current state is. How many calls are you getting? How long are they taking? How many people have signed up for this and that? How long is this thing taking us? So, pick the right KPIs, track progress, and don't be afraid to iterate. Like what works today, it might need tweaking tomorrow. So keep learning, keep optimizing, until you kind of see those successes. So great questions, great interaction on the Slido. Thanks for attending today. Do want to say, hey, if you want more information on how Advance can create awareness with these meaningful personalized actions, please reach out to your account manager. I know we finished 2 minutes early, so if you take a minute, feel free to ask a question, but maybe jot down things while they're fresh in your mind. What are some of these business processes? What are some things that we're sending communications out where if we added a little personalized element, it might make that 2%, 5%, 10% improvement on the conversion rates and reaching customers. So thank you so much. Great interaction, everybody. Thank you.